What on earth? All right, guys, this is another entry into my little behind the scenes director's commentary series that I'm starting to do. In this video, we will be taking a look at my most recent video essay at time of release, which is the video essay on Future and Metro Boomin's new album, We Don't Trust You. This is an album that I had to make a video about. I heard it and instantly was just obsessed. I'm a huge Future fan, a huge Metro fan, obviously a huge Kendrick Lamar fan as well. You know, he had a crazy verse on there. And I just had to say something about this album because I feel like it represents such a return for Future and Metro to their roots in a really good way. So I feel like my video essay did a good job of articulating that point. I hope you all enjoyed it. But yeah, I wanted to talk about some stuff that I had to leave out of the video just for time, and also my entire process for making this video because it was a bit different than usual. And I guess get into like the risk that I took making this video because, like I said in the last little behind the scenes video, I'm always trying to take risks. You know, that's kind of my big goal for this next era of my channel, to do a lot more risk taking and really challenge myself as a creator. So let's get into it. Okay, starting off, I want to cover the stuff I had to leave out of the video, which honestly isn't really anything of artistic substance. It's just, you know, a lot of the cool and fun stuff I want to talk about. First on that list is obviously the Kendrick Lamar verse. Kendrick went absolutely crazy here. I probably don't need to tell you that. There are countless video essayists right now making videos about, you know, what this means for the future of hip hop, what this means for the current landscape, why Kendrick's verse is so great. And I'm not going to do that because, you know, I think a lot of that stuff is obvious. But I am going to say the Kendrick verse is amazing. It's literally probably feature verse of the year at this point. Maybe it can be topped, but I don't really think it will be. And yeah, it just has this crazy energy, this very energetic flow. And I think all the stuff Kendrick was saying, like the shots he took at Drake and J. Cole, are so funny and clever. Yeah, I love that feature. However, one thing I do want to shine a light on is that Kendrick isn't the only artist on that song. You know, it is also a Metro and Future song. And I think a lot of people has been kind of writing off the performance of especially Future on that track to just focus on the Kendrick verse. And specifically, I don't think a lot of people see that entire song as a diss towards Drake or J. Cole or anybody. They just kind of see that Kendrick verse as the main part of it that's a diss. But I've been kind of reading the entirety of the song as a Drake diss more than anything. And that includes, you know, Future's verse. So Future's verses are very much so about like who he is, his lifestyle, how he was raised. And then his chorus is like, I am that person, you know, are you like that? And I think that's very interesting when you take into account Drake, who is someone who's very historically always wanted to be seen as very tough and kind of a hardened guy, even though, you know, he didn't really come from that lifestyle. And so I think Future's choice to, on this song that very pointedly has a Drake diss, talk about, you know, this is who I am, are you like that, kind of comes off to me as a bit of a slight towards Drake. So in that way, I see the whole entire song as a Drake diss, and that's just something I don't see people talking about a lot. So I definitely want to bring attention to it in this little additional segment. From there, I also want to talk about my top 5 songs on the album because, of course, I have a top 5 songs. You know, I am a hip hop nerd if there ever was one. And this list is subject to change because Lord knows every single day I change my opinion on certain songs on an album, you know, not really ever for the bad, just for the good. Like I start to appreciate certain songs more. But as it stands right now, I would say my top 5 in order from, you know, 5 to 1 is number 5, Cinderella. I think Cinderella is an amazing track. I hadn't heard the leak when this album came out, so I was like just, you know, completely fresh to the song, and it's beautiful. It's nocturnal. It has those nice little twinkling sounds in the back, great production. And then Future and Travis have amazing vocal chemistry here. I just love that song. It's such like a, you know, a night drive type song. And then at number 4, I would put We Don't Trust You, the title track. I think that song is so atmospheric. It's so cinematic. I heard Sean C., the YouTuber, talking about it, and he said it's like locker room music, like you're getting yourself hyped up for the game. And I have to agree with that. Like, this is a song that maybe isn't explosive and hyped up, but it's like you're getting in that zone. This is a song I would play like when I'm walking to the gym, or like sitting in my car before I head into the gym or something. So I kind of love it for that. It fills a very nice role as, this sort of hype but also low key type song. And again, I would really stress it's super cinematic. This is something straight off of Heroes and Villains. Very similar to the opening track of that album, Superhero, with Future, albeit not as hype. But I just think, Future, Metro, cinematic type beat. Obviously, there's a parallel there. And then at number 3, I would put I'm going to censor myself here because, I don't want to have to do it in post. What the flip you mean? WTFYM. Yeah, this song is a number 3 because I think honestly right now, just because of Future's performance, Metro's production here is great, but how often do you hear a trap artist, period, like just go in for 5 minutes nonstop, just really rapping? It's almost never. And for an artist like Future to do that, he's done stuff like that before, but he seemed, I guess before this album came out, like he was so out of that space. Like, I feel like Future, in kind of a way that I addressed in my video essay, has become this artist who is very more safe, I would say, makes a lot more pop type hits. And when he really does rap, it's on these shorter type songs. Either that or the songs have, tons of features on them, or he's the feature. But I think on this song, Future, it's a solo Future track with, of course, Metro production. And he's just really rapping for 5 minutes straight, which is insanely impressive, and it's good rapping. I would say it's very good. It's not hitting the lyrical highs that I think Future may have hit in his past on other records, but it's just really good. It has great control of the flow, delivery, good lyrics. I really do love that song. And it is definitely the one that has grown on me the most since I first heard this album. I really didn't have it ranked super high when I first heard this. Okay, number 2 is, of course, going to be Like That with Kendrick Lamar. That song is great, as I already discussed, previously. Wonderful Future performance, super catchy hook, has this great menacing energy, but also this beat that is just so like classic hip hop. And I love it. It's one of my favorite beats from the whole album. And without the Kendrick feature, this would still be a top 5 song. But with the Kendrick feature, it is so close to number 1. However, it is beat out by my favorite song from this album, and the one I would say is the best. Again, censoring myself, Type-ish. This song is just, what can I say? It's perfect. Like I said in the video essay, it is perfect. It is a perfect trap song. You have Future just going in on this insanely hard, like gothic Metro beat, and then this psychedelic switch over to very like Mike Dean-esque production. I think Mike Dean worked on that section of the song, and it's heavenly. It's synth heavy. It's atmospheric. It's just so good. And then Travis Scott fits perfectly into that section of the song. I'm really happy that his feature is doing something different than, just him going in, because I think that's what I would have expected from a Travis Scott appearance on this album going into it. But he does so much more than that. And I think it's really a beautiful feature. And then, of course, it is immediately followed by Playboi Carti's verse, which is one of his greatest featured verses ever. He really goes in. He goes the distance here. He's really rapping. He's really doing flow switches. He's riding the beat perfectly. And the greatest part about this song is that I think every single artist matches each other. They all are on the same level. They're all giving it the same amount of effort. And it makes for just a really great song. I love this track. It's my favorite off the album. I don't see that changing. And yeah, it's just a wonderful song. And my honorable mentions from the top 5 would have to be Fried. Fried is a personal favorite of mine. It takes me right back to like 2014 era Future. The beat, the performance is so like just fun and energetic. It's almost like a Young Thug song in some ways. And yeah, just like I just flew back in the strip club on a Wednesday. Like Iconic. That's such a great song. I also love Everyday Hustle with Rick Ross. The beat is crazy. It's like a chipmunk soul type beat. Metro is getting really good at those, and Future rides it perfectly. I like him getting out of his comfort zone a little bit, but it still sticks very close to that trap formula, and I think it works for that reason. It's a little bit new, it's a little bit old, but it really is signature Future, signature Metro, regardless. And I think it's great for that reason. Nice little flow switch up at the end. And of course, Rick Ross's verse is amazing. When I heard that little Maybach music tag, I was like, yeah, we're in it. And so then he just takes off and he's wonderful. And also an honorable mention to Young Metro. A lot of people have hated on this song because they feel like there was like such a tease of The Weeknd here. But I kind of love this whole idea of The Weeknd being used as like background ad libs, ambiance. Like, I think that's just so interesting. And again, it represents a use of a featured artist here in such a novel and kind of fresh way. And I really love that. Also, the beat is futuristic, it's driving, Future hits it perfectly. I really couldn't ask for anything more. So, another great song. And I also want to mention, if there's any great thing about this album, it's that it's gotten me looking back on records like Dirty Sprite 2, on records like Monster, really just reflecting on like what makes Future great. And while I wouldn't say this record is on the same level as a DS2 or a Monster, like it's the same type of Future. He sounds hungry, he sounds older, of course, and more kind of, not going into these crazy flows or trying to get super lyrical, sounding like he's, fighting for his life on the beat, but he sounds hungry. He sounds like has something to prove here. And I really do appreciate that, especially for an artist that I felt has been becoming more and more stagnant these past few years. I think DS2 is Future's most energetic album. It has these great psychedelic and chill songs, of course, but also has these crazy bangers that like have never been matched in all of trap. And then I would say Monster is his most lyrical. And this is like a good mixture of the two. This is a bit of lyrical Future. This is a bit of hyped up Future. And I think he just strikes a really good balance here. And I love to see it. It's wonderful. Also, Monster is my favorite Future album as of right now. I was listening to it today, and for as much as I love DS2, I think Monster just has like a near flawless track list, capped off by Coding Crazy, which might be the greatest trap song ever. Maybe we'll do a video essay about that someday, but like, yeah, Coding Crazy is insane. It is so good. It is so good. And then to close out this extra material section, I want to talk about my expectations for the next album to be released by Future and Metro on, I think, April the 12th. I'm very excited for this record. As should be obvious because I loved We Don't Trust You so much. My expectations for this, it honestly could be even better. I think we've seen on this record, We Don't Trust You, a very back to the basics type Future and Metro collaboration, but I could see this next record doing one of two things, which is either doubling down on that back to the basics formula or kind of splitting off and being the more experimental and out there kind of record for Metro and Future, which I would be interested to hear. There's I think a bigger chance that it could be not as good, but there's also a small chance that it could be even better, and even better in a super interesting way, which I think would be amazing, and I would be super interested to hear that. I do hope that we get full verses from some of the artists that were teased on this one. I would love to hear a full Weeknd verse. I would especially love to hear a full Young Thug verse on this next album. But yeah, my expectations are high. I think it'll be really good. This album definitely felt like it had something to prove, and now that has been proven. So I'll be interested to see like what the main like motivating force for the next record is. If it's just more of the same, if it's something different. I don't know. One of my friends had this really funny like prediction that Kendrick is going to come back on the second album and just go even harder, like just even more people and like go even more in on Drake and stuff, which I think would be absolutely hilarious. I would laugh so hard if on this next album there is a Like That Part 2. And, we go into it and it's exactly what we expect. Like, it's just Kendrick ripping into people even worse than before. That would be hilarious. And then getting into like the behind the scenes stuff, I'll try to make this, quick. I don't really have a lot to say about this video. This was a shorter, more like off the cuff video. But for this one, I really did try to do it in a quick like turnaround time. I tried to make this one fast, but also quality. So this required a lot of work in a very condensed amount of time. I've spent a lot of hours working on this in the past 2 days, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think the edit it's serviceable. It's not my greatest edit ever, but it is, I think, really solid. And I think the content of the script is great. I wish my vocal performance was a bit better. My voice was really messed up when I recorded that. So the vocal performance is what it is. And then I'm still trying to figure out like just how my voice sounds best on a microphone, which is hard, man. Like, you want to just talk as your normal self, but sometimes like your normal self sounds terrible on a mic, because you keep making like popping noises and all stuff like that. But figuring it out. I think my biggest challenge with this one was that I didn't have a film to draw footage from. I had to basically pull footage from music videos, which on the one hand, it's very hard to get high quality renders of music videos. And on the other, music videos cut very fast. So my editing had to be very precise, and I had to do a lot of like searching around for multiple videos, which was kind of a pain. I'm starting to see why major video essay channels don't really do a lot of music content. And I assume it's probably because music videos are so hard to edit for. And, when you're editing for a film, like, you just have this 2-hour bank of footage to go to. But for musicians and music and stuff, that just doesn't exist unless you have like concert footage, which is a pain to get because it's always going to be like an hour or 2 hours long, and you don't just want to keep cutting around the same concert over and over. That gets boring. But yeah, I've experienced firsthand the struggle of making a real music video essay now, so that's definitely something. It was a lesson learned. I would love to do more music video essay stuff in the future. I think that could totally be a possibility, but I think it's no surprise that film is a lot easier to work with. So I'm probably am going to do a lot of film as well. I just need to see like where I want to go with everything, because I do have a lot of passion for music and a lot of music scripts written, but I just need to work on figuring out how to edit those properly, so the videos turn out well, and so I'm not like just destroying my life trying to figure out how to get like all this footage together, try to make it all flow. Yeah, my voice always gets so tired when I do these because I talk for so long, like nonstop. Lord. But yeah, at this point in the creative process, I actually haven't exported the video yet or uploaded it to YouTube. So I'm still trying to figure out if I want to do it in 4K, if I want to do it in 1080p. I'm afraid that the 4K render is going to make it look terrible because it's not like actual sourced footage. It's, off YouTube. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think it looks pretty good in the editing timeline. I just want to make sure it looks that good when it goes to YouTube. So I'm going to have to experiment with that. So I don't really have a solid answer for what that's going to look like at this point, I guess. But yeah, still figuring that out. Overall, though, I feel like a very nice, quick turnaround for a video. This is a short little, I think, exercise of my creative abilities. So I'm happy to do it. Interestingly enough, I think like Drake and Kendrick would be a great comparison for the two types of like artistic content you can produce. I think you could be like Kendrick and you hold out and you produce these very well-developed type pieces of media, or you could be like Drake and you have like your big, well-produced stuff, and then you also have like your small stuff. And I feel like at this point, I really do want to go for consistency, and I want to hit those like Kendrick type highs of just great video essays, but I also want to have those like Drake little flexes of like, oh, I'm going to put this out, and it's like an EP. Or I'm going to put this out, and this album is like a small album. It's like testing the waters or something. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like this video was a small video, and the next one is going to be a big video, like a very, very lots of work will have gone into it. The editing will be very precise, and it will be very all put together. And this one is more just like, something cool, like something to hold everyone over, something to just get my ideas out there. And I think both are necessary in the long run. Dude, I'm recording this on my phone because I really don't care that much. I also am still in the same, not still, I've changed since, but I'm coincidentally in the same clothes from when I last filmed in this exact location. Basically, I'm just here to say an update on a few things. I did export the video in 4K. That happened, obviously, as y'all should have saw, but also that video blew up, man. Like, big blew up, like 20,000 views in like 2 days type blown up. And first of all, thank you. Second of all, I kind of regret saying that was like my small video, which it was, but it doesn't feel so small when it gets so big. So yeah, I guess I just want to come on and like say that, like, it's kind of crazy. I think it's weird that the videos I put the most effort into don't really do as well, but I'm happy to do well in any type of content. I'm proud of what I create, so I'm not really bugging. My voice is really raspy right now. I am like, allergies are bodying me. So yeah, that's really all I had to say. Thank y'all for all the support. Genuinely, it has been surreal to get this much attention, like, in such a short period of time. I've had videos blow up before, but it's always a trip when videos do really well. But yeah, thank you guys, and back to the what I recorded like a week ago. Bye. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off. I'm super tired of talking. This extra bits video will probably be longer than the actual video essay, which is hilarious. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it, and bye.